Hi guys, the date is April 11th, 2026, and sometimes you find yourself in situations that they seem like a lost cause. Either it's relationships or your home life or your school life, and you sunk cost fallacy. This is an option that you can keep trying to fix, or you can just move to the better option. And I want to talk about in this video how you can't win a game you've already lost, and kind of how to identify that you've lost the game, Like, for example, my first video on this channel was about me dropping out of high school, and that was a game that I had lost because I was learning who I was trying on a bunch of different outfits, I was joining some different cliques and different groups, and I was relearning to socialize because I wasn't as advanced as most of the other people there. But that led to learn you have to make mistakes, and I made a good few mistakes, and as I learned I got better, but people still saw me as the way I was, and what it would take for them to see me differently wasn't worth what I could find somewhere else, And so I ended up just leaving the situation, it was a lost game. And it's like, I could have stayed and fixed it, but if you have a stock and you just keep pouring money into it and it just keeps going down, even if it goes up a little bit, doesn't go back up to where you started, it's not worth it. You can just move to a different stock, and then that just goes up from the start, and it's a better investment. And it's the same thing, you invest your time and energy. School wasn't a good investment anymore, And I find myself making this video because I'm in a similar situation with my living arrangements, because I wanted to become more independent. So I moved out of the house to a farm that we rent out land for people. I wasn't paying rent. I was living in a kind of a studio apartment cabin, but I was paying for food and appliances and different stuff like that. But my parents, they have started to come out and use my stuff and stay at the place, and they're being controlling again, and they're trying to asking me to do stuff that I don't have the time. I can do it, but I can't do it when they want me to do it, and it's starting some issues. And the whole reason I moved out there was to become more independent, and I think it's come to the point where soon, once I can save up a bit of money and find somewhere to rent, I'm gonna have to fully move out of the house. And I don't know if that entails I don't want to cut off my parents, and it's that sounds bad, but I feel like they will never see how they put me in a losing game. And it's fair though, because if I'm relying on them, then I have a responsibility to help them. I don't blame them for that, but it's also when I do move out, if they can respect my independence, then I'll still be in contact and still come for family dinners. But if they still can't respect my independence, then I will have to like just stop interacting with them, because if someone crosses your boundaries, you need to back away from that person. and I'm gonna put my boundaries and see if they cross them or not. But yeah, where was I? Losing situations, losing games, and leaving them. You know, you got limited time on this earth, and if you're in a losing game and you feel stuck, you always have the option to leave. Because even if you leave, okay, let me rephrase that because that actually sounds not very good when you think of people in bad situations. Because I'm talking from a very privileged position, and there's some situations that are really hard to leave. I'm talking about in the context. I feel like in those situations, I can't really speak on it, but if I had to speak on it, I would say it's probably something like you have to just. Actually, I'm not going to speak on that because I haven't been in a situation of that much hardship, and so I'm not going to. Yeah. But as I was saying, with leaving these situations, it's hard to know if a situation is lost, like if a relationship. But what you have to do is just the first step to it is awareness. The first step is try to understand with an open mind, communication, go to the other people, this is just for a relationship, communicate with the other person, try to see their perspective, see what is really going on, then accept it, and then in the presence, take the action to change it. But in a school, or in a situation like a bad home life where that you can't really communicate with the other people to try and see their perspective, you have to weigh up the costs. Weigh up the cost of leaving. Weigh up the cost of packing up your stuff in your car and driving off and never seeing them again. That is not a cost I could weigh up before because I wasn't 18 and there was a lot of stuff I couldn't do, but I am now. So that is something I can weigh up. And it's gotten close, but I want to do it the right way. I don't want to do it. And actually, yeah, that's a really big thing. Doing it the right way is so important. You should not do it out of anger, out of strong there should be strong feeling, but don't do it for that reason, because that's a shallow reason. It's like the people who go to university for because for the money, becoming a surgeon for the money. Unless there's a deeper reason behind that, saving your family's financial position. I'm not trying to be unkind to those people, but if it's just for a shallow reason, I want some more money, then it's not gonna work out, because if the reason isn't good, then you won't take the actions necessary to make the situation good. But a better way to look at it is from a point of not rationalization. You gotta be careful. It's more separation. So you what you want to do is you don't want to be rationalizing, but you do want to try go into the third person to look at your situation, look at what you're trading off, look at what you're giving versus what you're getting, and say, this is a net negative situation. This is hurting me, and this is not where I want to be, and this is not going to take me where I want to go. So I'm going to leave this situation. And once you can, it's about awareness. You need to see it from the third person. Maybe talk to a friend, see if you can get their opinion on it. And then once you understand the situation, you gotta accept it, because that's a lot of people understand how bad their situations are, but they don't accept it. And by accept it, I don't mean just take it, lay down, roll over, be okay with it. I mean, understand that this is how it is. This is how reality is. This is how things are. And then you move into presence, which is Don't look into the future, how you're going to solve it in the future. Or, well, I guess thoughts will come to you about what you're going to do in the future, but don't think about those thoughts. Don't ruminate on them, Don't say, "Oh, I can move out. Oh, but that's not good." Just look in the present. Don't look into the past. Don't look at past mistakes. Don't look at what has gone wrong and plan out what could go wrong, Just in the present moment, right then and there, think about what can I do to move forward. And obviously, there has to be some sort of planning, but presence isn't about, in the present, you can take the action to plan for the future or think about the past and not make those mistakes again in the present moment. But it's about rumination. If you sit thinking about the future, thinking about all these thoughts that are coming to you, thinking about what could go wrong, it's that, it will affect your ability to take action in the present moment and on what you need to do. So, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to cover off, If you are in a bad situation, I don't know if I can give as much advice because I wouldn't know the specifics of it, but I'm just going to say, stop trying to win a losing game. Don't try to win a losing game. Or a lost game. A lost game. If you're losing, then you usually do want to try and win it. But if it's already lost and you can accept that, you need to get out of there. But yeah, that's kind of all for this video. That's the end of the video.